We're here at Applebee's for another edition of This Week in Laker Football, and we have a victory to celebrate and then last night's game against Marshall County to talk about. But I want to talk about the victory over Murray High first. We did not get to celebrate that properly because of the way the game was stretched out over 2 days, but it was a great win for the Lakers. Coach Mickey Garrison joins me now, and I know that you and all of Laker Nation were pleased with the way that Callaway played in that game.
Yeah, that seems like light years away now, but yeah, we didn't get that chance. It was a crazy weekend with weather and the delay, and then finishing up that Saturday night. But obviously a big step for our program to finally be able to do that and against Murray and on that stage is just a great night for Callaway Nation.
Absolutely, and it was a game that you all came out and really had some big plays in, but the primary thing that you all did was the way that your defense contained Murray High.
Right, and that's something at that point, going into that Murray game, we felt like that was, something that with our personnel and getting people figuring out, strengths that we have and get people in the right place and with their schemes that we were very confident on that side of the ball. And so that was a spectacular night. Murray knocked on the door a couple of times, and we got big plays. So can't say enough about what we did defensively that night.
Indeed. You outgained them 267 yards to 170 yards, despite the fact that they monopolized time of possession.
Right. Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with that.
Okay. Let's work on that just a little bit here. Okay. Try turning it around, maybe.
All right, maybe if I put it on frontwards and not backwards.
That might help. There,
all right, we're good.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, we did some. We got a few big plays that was offensively with Chandler Kane on our screen game, and that with big gains for us and big momentum changes for us as far as being able to get some things going offensively. But just time and time again, the main thing was just from a physical standpoint this year, our guys have worked very hard and just are stronger this year, faster, and from a mentality standpoint, just more aggressive. So that definitely transpired on the defensive side. We're starting to see some gains on the offensive side too, and we just hope to continue to grow.
What was it like on the field with your guys when that game was over?
Well, going back to Friday night, we finally scored, and so we're on the board, and we didn't even get to kick the extra point, and so we have the delay, and we're waiting. So as that night transpired and went on, and we knew we were going to have to come back Saturday night to finish that. One of the big challenges was to maintain it is impossible to describe the level of intensity that our team had going into that game, just as far as being in the locker room before they came out at the very beginning Friday night. So number one, you have all of that, and we meet again early on Saturday. It's very rare that you get an opportunity to, look at and break down first quarter play and then finish the game. And so, we took advantage of that this year. I'm sure that Murray did that as well. And then with pregame and trying to recapture all of that, it was tasking just as far as an energy level standpoint and all those things to be stretched out over 2 days. And so at the end, what you saw from the players and coaches and a lot of people was really relief. There was a celebration, but our guys were spent, and they truly left it all on the field. But it was absolutely just a celebration and a fun night.
It was odd to have the game stretched into a second day, and I was thinking when that happened that I didn't believe that I'd ever seen it happen before in all my years of doing Callaway football. And then Facebook has this way of popping up memories, and I noticed that here just a few years ago it happened against Ballard.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't aware of that either. From a coaching standpoint or a player, I'd never experienced that either, but it's the same on both sides. Murray had to regain and do some things as well, so I felt like on both sides we probably took full advantage of all you could of that instead of using that as a crutch or something to step back. But the game went on. It was every bit as physical and and aggressive as it was on Friday night, and those last three quarters it was really back and forth. And so, like we said, our defense stood strong and finished the night, and we got it.
Well, your first touchdown came on a 4-yard pass from Jacob Bella to Jeremiah Malone, and that got you the 6-0 lead. And then at that point, the game was interrupted. Talk about that play, though, the pass from Bella to Malone.
Well, and to get it down there, that was I believe at least, like I said, it's been about 2 or 3 months ago, it seems. But Chandler Kane getting it down there on the screenplay, and then we had a couple of plays. And so on third, we just had a little a slant. So Jeremiah was out, came in on the slant, and Willie Bella put it in a window that only Jeremiah could get it, and so he had to dig it and got his hands there. It was just a fantastic play.
Now, it was kind of an odd situation, the way that the stoppage worked out, at least from my point of view. I suppose somebody saw lightning somewhere, and there were storms that were an hour away that were kind of circling this area. But is that just the rule? If you see lightning, you have to stop the game regardless of what you know about the storm or the situation?
Well, they actually have technology now that's smarter than I am. I would go by just the eyesight testing. You have gauges and things that can point it out, if it's 10 miles away or how far away the lightning is. And so, obviously, in football and any sports, you can play in the rain, you can play in monsoon, but when you have electricity in the air like that, then, obviously they're going to call that. I felt like we could have at least got the extra point, and then at that point, instead of being at kind of an odd juncture there, or even finish the quarter, but, the officials are saying safety first, so you can't argue that.
I suppose not. And then at that point, obviously they had the delay before they decided that they were going to play the game the next day instead of wait and try to finish later that night.
Right.
And how did you feel about that, carrying it over into the next day as opposed to waiting for the storm to pass and finishing on Friday night?
Right. I'm sure Coach Hodge was the same way. We went inside hoping it would just be a short delay, 30 minutes or even to an hour. It would have been obviously a better situation to finish that night, but it seemed like as the storm came in, it was just a little spot, but it just kind of stood still and became kind of uncertain and not predictable what it was going to do. So rather than have a waiting game and being there all night and not knowing, officials made the call, and then we discussed the time and went from there.
Okay. And then your next scoring play, also a touchdown by Jeremiah Malone, and this was a 27-yard pass from Jacob Bella.
Yeah. Once again, just as the night goes on, we've got a lot of guys yet to, we got to find ways to get the ball into our playmakers' hands, and I feel like we're going to be doing that. But again, Jeremiah, obviously, when he has a small window there of opportunity, he's going to take it, make something with it. He was just on another level as far as intensity that night and just the determination, not just from him, but all of our guys. Obviously, there's 10 others surrounding that play as well, but he's the one that got the honor of taking that in, and obviously that was huge. That was a little bit of that relief that you're needing. A one touchdown game against a team like Murray is not something where you can start breathing or really change anything. You still have to have the pedal to the metal, but that allowed us to get a little more comfortable at least, and obviously we held on to that lead.
And then there was the safety where the ball was hiked through the end zone. Was that intentional?
No, we actually at that point we were discussing whether or not to get the timeout. We thought we had time to get. Actually, Jeremiah was off the field and he was running on, so it was an inadvertent snap. Obviously, one of the things we were discussing at that point in the situation was to take the safety, and we're just fortunate that it worked out that way. But the signals on the sideline and to the officials and then to our players, it was just kind of a crazy moment. So as head coach, I'm going to take that one on, and we're just fortunate it turned out as a safety and nothing more.
Was there anything that you did as far as game planning different from Murray to contain them as well as you did?
Well, Murray, one of the few teams, we're going to see a lot of spread offenses this year. We knew they were going to be one of the bigger physical teams that were going to try to mash us and run the ball. Even though they had lost their number one runner, they had capable guys that could keep keep it on the ground and do that. We knew with a freshman quarterback, he's just going to continue to get better. We knew he would be very efficient. But we felt like they would try to do that. So defensively, obviously, there were things that we did different, preparing for their offense and that style, as well as, on our offensively what we did against them. So there are things that are unique to to every week and every opponent, and you just break down film and do what you can to get her down rhythm.
Okay. I want to talk to some of the players for a while, if that's okay with you. I thought that would be a good way to celebrate the victory.
Can I handpick them?
You can, and what you can do is you can tell me their names, because without their numbers, I'm not going to be able to know who to see.
I understand that. Well, we got several here, so whoever's up, actually, I'm just looking here. Colby Culver's got his mouth full of something, but I bet he'll swallow up quick. Come on up. Ladies and gentlemen, Colby Culver.
Okay, and Coach Garrison hands Colby the headset. And Colby, I want to talk to you about that Murray High game. And first of all, going into that game, that's the most anticipated game of the year for the fans. I'm sure it is for you all too.
Yes, sir. Murray's a huge game. Murray's a huge game for us. It's a lot of just a rivalry, and yeah, I have a whole lot to say about it.
Okay, y'all came out, you took the lead on them, and then the game was suspended because of weather. What was that like for you guys?
Well, it was really weird. I ain't really put up with a delay or having a day off from playing a game of football, but we came in Saturday, still the same intensity, and everything was good.
And then y'all came out on Saturday evening and you put the game away, came away with a big victory. Talk about what the atmosphere on the field was like when the game was over.
The game, it was wild. I mean, having everyone rush the field, everyone out there, all the players jumping up and down, screaming, hollering, it was great. It's an unbelievable experience.
Is that the most excited you've been for a victory in your career at Callaway?
Just about it. I was really excited about that one, but I think the most excited I've ever been was Madisonville last year.
Well, and that was a great victory as well. And then I'm sure there was still the excitement probably lasted all through the night.
It lasted all through the weekend, through Monday and Tuesday, but as soon as we got to practice, the celebration was over, and it was time to get to work.
All right. Let's see if we can get another of your teammates over here.
Gage.
And let's see.
No Marshawn.
Okay, all right.
About it.
So who do we have here?
Gage Phillips.
Gage. Talk about what the victory over Murray High was like for you.
Well, it was very exciting for one, something we haven't done in a long time, and it was just a pretty great victory.
It was an unusual game because in yardage you all outgained them by a significant margin, but it seemed like they had the ball almost all the time.
Yeah.
What was it like going through that on the sidelines? Okay, sorry. Because if somebody distracting you, that's Colby in a little mischief there. But, it was exciting to come away with a victory.
Yeah, it was very exciting to come away with a victory, especially against them. But we knew, it was very exciting. We lasted throughout the weekend, most of the week, but we knew we had to come back.
All right, let's see if we can get another of your teammates over here.
Got it.
And I think we have Colton Cox. Okay, and Colton, he's one of the highlight producers on defense. He gets a lot of big hits. Does any play stand out in your mind from the game against Murray High?
The only plays I remember really big plays. Whenever Kobe hit John, that was a pretty good play. And then sack, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Does anything feel better than sacking a quarterback for somebody like you?
Getting the win is a little bit better.
All right. It's the first time y'all had beaten Murray in a while. How bad did you want that game?
Really bad. I wanted for my seniors too. That's the only thing I wanted. They worked hard all 4 years.
When the final seconds expired and you had the victory, what did you do?
I was happy. I mean, I don't know.
Jump up and down, go nuts?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, all right. Well, I want to thank you for visiting with us, and we'll see if we can get another of your teammates over here. We'll talk to somebody else. Coach Garrison's motioning somebody over.
I motioned somebody to send Darius.
Okay, Darius Scribbling. And Darius is running back for Callaway. And Darius, what was that like for you to come out and get the lead? You're all built up, you've got all the excitement, and then poof, you have to wait till the next day.
Shocking. We had all that and felt like probably
Did y'all do anything to to get that feeling back the next day? Okay, all right. And you came away with a victory in that game. What was it like for you to get that win against Murray High?
It felt good because all my brothers won it too.
Okay, all right. Thanks for visiting with us. Do you have anybody else you want to bring over here, Coach Garrison?
Oh, I don't know. Be young. Hey, guys, anybody?
Okay, well, we got a few of them.
That was experimental. We'll be better prepared next time. It's amazing these guys go on the radio and how much they don't talk as to the opposed to all other times. Great guys, just we're on words today.
Well, that's all right.
They're a little tired.
Understandable, definitely, that's understandable. And, it was, however, just a magnificent game. And, if you look at statistics so far this season, I mean, your team has been among the leaders in Class 4A in numerous categories, as your defense was the leading scoring defense in the state before last night. I think you were 8th in rushing defense, only allowing 37 yards a game going into last night. So the defense through those first two games played very well.
Right, and we know as the weeks go on and competition is different and so forth, you do enjoy and appreciate those accomplishments. Again, you have to understand too that those stats and leaders and things like that obviously going to change a lot throughout the season. So we've just got to make sure that we continue to improve as competition changes and different teams that we're playing. We know that we've got a special opportunity with this group of guys, and it's not just defense. We've really yet to see some of the potential that we have offensively, especially with the weapons that we have all over the field. So we know we've got a lot of work to do. It sure would be fun, talking about this today being 3-0, but we are 2-1. We're still in great position, and so going forward as coaches, we're going to get together and we're going to be talking about making sure that we take that step forward. One that we didn't take last night, but we can definitely get back on track.
Okay. If you look at individuals, Jacob Bella, he's done a great job running the football for you, and he was among the leaders in passing in Class 4A going into last night's game, and Jeremiah Malone was among the leaders in receiving going into last night's game, so he's gotten good play out of them. And then if you look at the defense, there's several kids that have played well for you on defense.
Right. Just on the offensive side of the ball, again, determined by a lot about who you're playing, your opponents, and you're going to have different things that open up different windows of opportunity. So one thing that seems to be a constant, though, we've got a young man named Jacob Bell who's just a hard-nosed quarterback. Before being a quarterback, he's just a football player. He's smart, student of the game. He's still learning the position, and he is definitely taking that on and takes a lot of pride in that. So we're excited as he continues to grow there, and we believe that game will just broaden as far as what he's capable of doing on the ground, leading defenses and through the air too. Okay.
Let's talk about the guys on defense, because although they don't rack up stats that are on KHSAA.org, you all keep track of their tackles and things of that nature. And you've got several guys who've played extremely well for you on defense. And we talked to one of them, Colton Cox. He's had some huge hits. Colby Culver, another fellow that we talked to. Colby has just been a monster on defense at times. And then your edge rushers, Josh Effinger and then Michael Behrens, they've been awesome too.
Right, and Effinger is one that he plays D tackle mostly. As we move players around and so forth in different sets defensively, Josh is obviously one of those guys that he's quick enough. We can't put him on the edge, but with Cox and Behrens at the ends there, Effinger, at D tackle, we've got something special going on up front, and we've got rotation with Trey and Gage there at the other D tackle, and then we have those three linebackers. And as we continue to grow in this defensive scheme that we have this year, and Coach Terrell, what we're doing each week, and adding wrinkles to it and so forth, I'm going to stop using the word potential. I think it's another term, but there's still so much left out there on the field, and then our guys know that. The intensity and things like that, but it's just those little details are so significant, and those are the things that we're really going to take the time to get back to. This week, really on Mondays, going back and making sure as we watch film and we look at things, we're honest with ourselves to clean up things. And as good as we have been defensively, we've still yet to really maximize what we're capable of. And moving on back into the secondary, you can't say enough about our secondary, Norsworthy and Orr and Bella and Malone, and we have Robert Franco is a junior that's starting to turn on and come in and getting reps on both sides of the ball. Darius comes in and helps out at corner, and so we've got Kevin Robertson comes in at free safety. So we are developing some more depth there, some more people who can come in and play integral roles, and we want that defense to continue to grow and get stronger, even as the competition goes stronger.
All right, we'll move forward now and talk about last night's game. Preparing for Marshall County after the bye week following the victory over Murray High, I would imagine that it probably wasn't very difficult to get the players' attention.
No, I feel like very much, you celebrate, you appreciate, the occasion of us beating Murray, but there's no doubt that equal to that, our rivalry with Marshall County, what that means to these guys, the kind of program that Merrick has going over there. Our guys were very much, looking forward and eager to play. We had a week off, obviously, with the bye week. So, if anything, I think that just added to the desire to get back on the field and, get that third game in. But something else that we're talking about is just the consistency and the focus in practice. And this is high school football. I don't think this was unique to our guys, but one of the things, and I don't think this has to do with the way that Eagles go for 1 or 2 games or anything like that. I think it's just maybe the nature of things, but our guys understand and know we have got to get more focused and take care of opportunities in preparation, whether it's film study or out on the field, whatever it is that we're doing. Lifting and all those things that go into preparation for Friday night. And so I definitely think the guys understand we let one slip by us last night, and that stung, and that's something that, we're not going to settle on that.
Okay. The game last night against Marshall County was a game in which it seemed like they game planned for you really well, particularly for what you were doing on defense.
Right. Well, and, really both sides of the ball. And we knew that would be the case. So there were things that, and I look back at last year's game as well, that, obviously they do their work and their preparation. And even with that, we still had some successes at times. You saw breakdowns in there. They had several turnovers as well, and we tried to take advantage of that, and we had our own fumbles. So, that's something that's all the game planning and everything that goes into the X's and O's. You can't over-exaggerate how important that is, but it really comes down to the execution of that on the field. So, our guys, although inconsistent at times, the desire and the intensity is there. It's just something we got to clean up some things, and hats off to Marshall for that preparation.
Indeed, Marshall got the early lead in the football game. your guys never quit fighting, and you had an opportunity to score there late in the first half and just weren't able to punch it in.
Right, and again, you go to the significance of every moment of the game and just the swings, and things do happen. But the ones that are within your control, you got to take care of them. So that's where we got to grow in our efficiency. Rather than drawing within, it would have been 17 to 10 to draw within a touchdown. We have the snap and the hold was fumbled, and then Sobello rolling out. Not only, and although we played the fire out pretty well and had an opportunity to actually score there, missed opportunity, and on top of that, Bella gets hit and is not able to return, for the second half. So that was a big turn, but once that's over and at halftime, I feel like our guys realized that you got to recruit. People have got to step up. Someone like Jacob Bella, we know he's not returning. Schematically, some things are going to change now, but we had guys to step in and step up, and that's something we just got to be ready for everything, because that's just the nature of the game.
How is Jacob? Have you gotten a report?
Jacob was rocked pretty good last night. Was in a lot of pain, but thankful that it's not broken. It was his ribs are the concern, that he's just bruised. So that's going to be something that's day to day. We're going to do all the protocol there and make sure that he's filled up and ready to go before he gets back in. But that would probably be a good lead into some of the players that stepped up to play different roles last night.
Indeed, because you did have a number of players step up, and the first that stepped up was Jeremiah Malone, as he came in to replace Jacob, and he looked really good running the offense there until he was unable to continue, I believe, because of cramps.
Right. That's something, this preseason, when we were, Luis Costas last year, and so we were looking at our options of what we had in quarterbacks. So Jeremiah was one of those that early on especially was getting even number of snaps before we went into our summer practices. Once that was settled and Bella's taken in and we got Jeremiah in his natural position, we still had a package there for Jeremiah in the center. And so, made some big plays there. Obviously, he's a playmaker in space, and even without, the kind of reps and preparation for that kind of situation that you'd like to have, did pretty well with that, but again, struggled with some under the weather before he came in the game anyway, and then I believe he got a little more than a cramp, might be a slight bruised calf or something to the calf anyway. He took it as far as we can, and finally, when it was clear that he wasn't going to be able to go at 100% there and was struggling, we knew that although John Foster is a freshman and he's just starting to grow physically, mentally, in all those ways, and we were very comfortable putting him there.
Well, in Jeremiah, you could tell that he was very frustrated by the fact that he was unable to go at 100%.
Right, and all of these guys, they truly have high expectations for themselves, and so that's just one of the challenges in this game. Many times athletes you have to overcome it. There's through some things like that, and there comes a point when it's just futile. There are physics that are applied there, and so I know that he was frustrated last night, as well as some other players that weren't 100%, but we had players to step up into those roles, and moving forward, we feel like even more the guys understand on the sideline that it's got to be a next man up mentality. So you talk about the importance of reps during practice, and just because you're not listed as a starter on Friday night doesn't mean you're not going to come in and play some critical plays for the team. So from a psychological standpoint, I think really well.
You lost Darius Stribling for a portion of the game as well.
Right, and again, Darius, it's something that anybody that runs the ball and just the number of plays and everything, you saw that where with Jeremiah when he went under center second half. I think a lot of that was fatigue and just slowing down. I think everybody right now had time to fetch it probably, but that's across the board. That's not an excuse. That's something that we work through and fight through. But more and more, we've got to be in better condition. We've got to take that more seriously, throughout the week, make sure that our bodies are physically prepared as well as mentally. And so, again, another lesson learned.
Okay. Another kid who stepped up was John Foster, as you mentioned him. Talk about the way that he played last night.
Well, and to lead up to that, to really appreciate it more. Going into the Thursday night freshman game against Graves County, and our guys lost a tough one in overtime to Graves, but Johnny was already hurt a little bit going into that game, and but well enough to play, and he took several looks in that Graves County game on Thursday, so I wasn't 100% sure that he was even going to be dressing for the game. He's a tough kid, didn't want to miss an opportunity, and obviously opportunity knocked, and he was ready.
Okay. And Cody Orr stepped up, too. He came in and played running back for you. And if memory serves me correctly, he ran it in for a touchdown there.
Yeah, and what you have is, like we said, you got to continue to find ways to get these different athletes that we have on the ball, take full advantage of that. Cody kept telling him, his opportunity was going to be coming up, and it definitely came last night. Made some huge plays and really got us in the game, and don't want to leave out our O-line and everyone else that's making plays as well right along with it. But Cody's just one of those shifty speedsters that the more game experience he gets there and getting the ball in his hands, I think we're going to continue to see success there.
And we're talking about the guys who stepped up on offense and filled positions, but when you lost Jeremiah Malone and when you lost Jacob Bella, you lost them for defense too. Talk about the adjustments that you had to make and who stepped up on defense.
Well, more and more we've had these guys getting more reps in practice, and even against Murray, starting to see just a little more time. But these guys, because of their game preparation, we felt a lot more comfortable in coming in. Kevin Robertson coming in at free safety, what that does is that allows us to not only maybe take Bella out and move him somewhere, but we kind of have a rotation there in that secondary. So having Kevin Robertson come along, Mitch and Darius playing on the corner, these are guys that really could play any position in that defensive secondary. And it's good to have someone like Jordan Norwood that could probably play any of those, linebacker to the defensive secondary. He could play any of those positions too. So what we don't have in depth, we have the flexibility with a lot of these guys, and it's good to continue to see those. Robert Franco is another young man. I mentioned him offensively and defensively. We feel really confident with him coming in on special teams and returning and doing different things. So I think we're going to continue to be, mentioning new names each week of people that are coming on the scene and really taking on the responsibility and getting ready for the process.
And as you build a football program, that's essential.
It's got to be done. And, when you're looking at the circumstances when you start getting into the meat of your season and you have players going down or even, temporarily during the progression of a game, we've got to have those guys that are on the sideline ready to go, and instead of, just trying to plug and maintain, but give us fresh wheels and, even give us a lift. And so our guys are starting to understand that more and more, and freshmen and sophomores not seeing themselves as underclassmen anymore, but just seeing themselves as football players ready to play.
Where do you think you've improved the most from last year?
I feel like the confidence level, the intensity these guys have, they understand. They worked hard this off season, so just from a strength standpoint, size standpoint, the things that we can control, I think we took care of a lot of those things. Getting in extra workouts that would be on what we're doing as a team. And we have individuals that are doing individual workouts, working on their speed, quickness, and agility. So I just think as far as the mechanics of the game, our players feel more confident because they've gotten better in the off season, and that's something that's got to continue to happen in this program year after year. And then the other standpoint is I think that there's just an understanding that another season ends. These guys were starters last year, and so there's some veterans that kind of understand the ebb and flow of the game and situations. And we saw glimpses of it last year, but we're never out of the game. Last night could have looked desperate from some perspectives, but our guys really didn't flinch. They understood that he was very much in the game. Even should have won that game. We feel like he got away from us, but I think these guys know what the potential is, and I think we can take full advantage of that as we prepare this season.
And this coming week you get Trigg County, and that game's on the road.
Travel to Katie's, to a team that's got some shifty players of their own, and a really good quarterback, and and just looking on tape, you know, they've got some size as well, so, you know, it'll be another good challenge for them.
Well, last year they were able to kind of feature a multifaceted attack against you. The quarterback Tyreek Wilson and running back Luke Carnahan that they had last year, they both come back, and they were difficult to handle at times.
Right, and again, there's going to be a lot of to be disciplined, and we'll obviously go over those things. If we're talking on the defensive standpoint, you know, our guys, our defensive ends and linebackers there to understand, you know, that type of player. When you're talking about the quarterback and what he's capable of doing in the pocket and out of the pocket dual threat, and so we'll be prepared for that and make sure that we've plenty of reps there. Everybody will understand what their scheme and what their responsibility is on the defensive side of the ball. And offensively, we're still, you know, looking for that moment where things can really come together, and we'll start showing people that we're not just, you know, we're not just a company. We've got the potential on the offensive side of it to put together better clock management, obviously taking more opportunities to get the ball in the end zone, and then special teams always comes back. We're either seeing how important it is because we've, you know, taking care of business, or something slips by us, and it's because of breakdown in special teams. So there's every phase that's got to be taken care of, and going into this pregame, you know, it's probably going to be that team that is the most consistent in all three phases.
Now, obviously, it would be good for you to know as soon as possible who's going to be your quarterback in that game, but given the situation, that's probably something that you won't know until midweek at the earliest. Would that be correct?
Right. We'll prepare as we move along from day to day there. We know where we stand today. We're preparing for that at that level, but obviously keeping in mind, you know, different circumstances coming along, we're going to be ready for whatever the situation is there, and whether it's Capella or next man up, we feel confident who will be there. And again, it's not just that person who's under center, it's the other 10 as well. We've got to make sure that we're consistent across the line and just taking care of business.
Okay. I want to give you the opportunity to talk about the guys on your staff, because we don't get much chance to do that, and I know that the key to having a good season and being a good head coach is having good guys that work for you. So talk a little bit about the guys on your staff.
I don't know what it's like at other schools. It's a unique situation for high school coaching staff, from my viewpoint. Not many, what it used to be like is, you know, there are teachers within the school system, and that's pretty much making up your, you know, the coaching staff. As it works for us, the guys we have coming to coaching staff, minus Jacob Tony and myself, you know, everyone else is outside of the school system. So we have, you know, Jared Linke, who is working in the fire department, and 1 day on and 2 days he's off, he's coming in, and we all have families. We talked about Mitch Ryan, was a lawyer in town, and so we all have to, you know, juggle different schedules and things like that to master the time as well as possible as far as practice goes. And then and Tony Ryan, and then, you know, Murray May. And so we have all these guys with, you know, managing their lives and their schedules and maximizing, you know, obviously what they know from a coaching standpoint in this football game. There's no doubt in my mind, I have all the confidence in the world, and I appreciate the sacrifices that they make and the families make in order for them to be a part of it. I would start with Jacob Tony, assistant coach and our offensive coordinator. He works at the O-line. He's been coaching at Callaway, I think, since he was like 4 years old. He can't be very old, but it just seems like he's been there forever. So he's someone who understands the football game mentality of it, and pushes especially our O-line, just the ins and outs on the detail that goes into making the offensive line successful. I know our guys cherish, you know, Coach Tony on the field and during practice, so I can't say enough about what he does. And he really takes on a lot of, even with the JV schedule and so forth, he's able to sideline calling as well for those games. So there's so much that he does in that from scheduling, big things and so forth. We got some good with it. I can't say enough about how much I appreciate it. Jared Linke, who's been coached just about as long as he coached Tony was there. obviously both are standouts at Coward and football players. And, you get Coach Linky and Coach Tony together on the dry race board when they're talking about offense, and it's really fun to see them and trying to maximize the different weapons that we have and come up with a scheme each week. And so, both of them just appreciate them so much. And this year, Coach Houghton, Will Houghton, son of the first year guy, 21 years old, has a family, and he comes in again to do the schedule and helps us out in a lot of different ways. Appreciate him. Michael Williams is someone who plays arena ball outside of the high school football season, and then comes back. He has a family here, and we appreciate all the work that he does, and especially working with our DBs and wide receivers, and just some of the mechanics and things that only someone who's played at that next level really understands. And so appreciate you, Michael. And Larry Watkins is a good friend of mine that played high school football in Alabama. These guys love him. Just really super personality guys that are so dependable, and again, managing his schedule, work schedule, things like that, but every second he can be, he's there, helping out in every way. And then, we look at our defensive coaching staff. Tony Ryan, I mentioned him, stand out at Coward, quarterback who played his ball in the secondary State. And so, he came on board last year as well to help Mitch Ryan, the defensive coaching staff, and we started seeing that defensive formation last year, the mentality and the edges that they had, and a lot of that goes to Tony. And it's really because of him and the connection he had with Coach Burrell that we were able to make connections there. And so Dennis Burrell was able to come in and can't say enough about what he's done as far as Steve's and his understanding. He's coached literally at every level and the years of experience that he has. So, these guys you talked about sitting down and then he stands up and he can speak and they realize this is something who has proven that he knows what he's talking about. And as Coach Burrell grows to understand more at this level, the high school level, and what we can do to be successful with is just outstanding. I've been really like just being around him as well. And then Mitch Ryan is a defensive coordinator and works with our D linemen, and he is just he's just kind of the epitome of a strong, motivated coach that you really have to have on that defensive side. Really the same way he plays when he's a defensive player at Coward and stand out. And so you put all these guys together, it's a pretty good mix. So many challenges that go into it, but it's just good knowing that number one, these are coaches that care about this community and care about these kids and appreciate the opportunity here. And then obviously you bring on the football experience and knowledge that they have, and it's pretty good setup.
Okay. How has your JV and freshman team progressed as the season's gone on?
Our JV started out with a win over Fort Campbell. The JV went to Marshall County, and Marshall County got the sweep of varsity and JV. We didn't our JV game there either. And then our freshman game had our first freshman game, and because of the number of freshmen that we have, especially on the lineman side of it, and the communication there, a lot of the freshman teams around here did it. Had several of our sophomores to play as well. But anyway, in that freshman / sophomore game against Graves County last Thursday, it was an outstanding game. After we got past the first few series and so forth, we saw a lot of guys really stepping up and starting to play the way that I remember them being able to play when they were in middle school. We have a lot of these sophomores now realizing that now is the time. We're not going to wait, down the line to let things happen. We really need them to step up now. So that was a great game when we saw that. We fell short in overtime to them. But I mentioned that Johnny Foster as our freshman and our JV quarterback, and now we may be looking at him obviously and getting very meaningful reps on Friday nights at the varsity level. So there's a lot of these young men that I feel like they're understanding the importance of the practice time and being prepared at all levels. I will go ahead and make this announcement because of the circumstances. This Friday, the JV game at Paducah has been canceled, so we will not be having that, and then we'll be on the schedule.
Okay, all right. That game is scheduled for Friday?
No, the Paducah JV game was going to be a Monday game.
Okay.
And so, that's canceled.
Okay. And Friday's game is over at Tree County, so I know we'll expect and get a huge crowd of Laker fans over there. I thought the turnout last night in Marshall County was tremendous.
It was, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I just want to continue to just shout out, and it's not just to the parents and the adults. More and more, we got a student base in Callaway that is supporting one another. I know our football guys love going and watching our soccer guys playing. Obviously, we got several soccer guys that are playing football, and so this is just a great culture. I wouldn't say it's a shift that we've been glimpses of it. This year, I just feel like it's a really special thing going on in Callaway, and everybody rooting for each other, supporting one another. We want to see success at every level of everything that's going on. And so I want to encourage, not just parents and adults, but you students, keep coming out for these games, because I know that you got speed off of that, and hear you know you're there, and so we hope that continues.
What about the Little League program?
Little League program, we had a big night the other night. Went over to Murray and won 3 out of the 4 games. I think our 4th grade, if I'm not mistaken, our 4th grade was a tied ball game. I may not be right there, but I know 3rd, 5th, and 6th I had victories over Murray, so that was a big night. We're excited about what these guys are doing. All of the coaches, I'll mention Josh Smith because he's coordinated, but there's a ton of coaches and other people that are helping out there. Our middle school program, which is Sean Thompson, they're having a lot of success there. We won 2 big games in a row, and then had a tough one against Caldwell last week, but I know they'll regroup and be ready for the next one. So top to bottom, 3rd grade up, feel good about what's happening in the 4th grade.
Anything else you want to talk about?
Just moving forward, that any of my players that may be listening, or maybe people contemplating wanting to play football, it is a unique opportunity, especially at the high school level. Not many are going to go and play at that next level, but we have many that could and might do that. But in high school, and I'll even go back down to the middle school, it's an opportunity to come out and play this game that really around here we're still, in a lot of ways, just kind of growing and learning about it, and maybe used to watching it, but don't really fully see the opportunity to play this sport. It's unique in its challenge from a mental and physical standpoint, and so I just want to encourage people to come out and support it, but people come out and play it. And so not going to get ahead of ourselves and talk about off season, but when next season does come around, I think we're going to continue to grow in our program. And last but not least, I often fail this, and I just got to start doing better. But this guy's that guy. We live in an awesome place, and God has blessed us here. Blessed us with great parents and great players and students and administration. I can't say enough, but we talk about his players as a good guy, and so it's glory to him. And may he continue to bless us, and just hope that we continue to grow.
Amen to all of that. You were talking about getting more kids out and how your numbers are up. It is interesting to me when I talk to kids at Murray State that are playing football, and I call them kids, many of them 22, 23 years old. Yeah, they're kids to me. But anyway, when I talk to them, for a lot of them who've come from the South where football is huge, they say the first dream they had was to play high school football. And if we can get it so that that's the way that it is in Callaway County, then that would be tremendous.
Yeah, and there are some things that are just kind of regional. But you see, you don't have to travel too far. You see what's happening in Mayfield. I would say it's pretty much the same. If you go to Mayfield, that's your dream, to play, be a Mayfield Cardinal and play that. That's no secret. And so there's really no excuse. There are things that we can be doing here to get something special going on here. And so I'm hoping that's what's going to happen. It's just an honor to be a part of this and watch it happening. I believe it is unfolding. We'll get back to this, this upcoming week.
All right. I want to thank you for being with us today, and that brings to a close this edition of This Week in Laker Football. You've been listening to Laker Athletics on 89.7.